We each respond very differently to the current situation we're in. Our various households are all slightly different, and our challenges vary depending to a certain extent on our personality. There are many examples in the Bible of people in tricky situations, and it's often very clear what they felt or thought about it. We read of one such example in 1 Samuel 24, when David was hiding from King Saul, who was trying to kill him. David and his men were hiding in the back of a cave, and Saul came in to go to toilet. David's men saw this as an opportunity to kill him, and David definitely disagreed. He said, "No, Saul is God's chosen king. It's not my place to kill him." But he just cut off a little corner of Saul's robe. Saul went out of the cave, and David went out and called after him and said, "I had an opportunity to kill you, but I didn't do it. I just cut a little piece of material off of your robe, as you can see." Saul was horrified and very penitent and apologised to David, and they made a pact between them, and then they separated and went their separate ways. David wrote 2 psalms in response to this incident. Psalm 42 and Psalm 57. Psalm 142 and Psalm 57. In Psalm 142, David comes across as being quite low and dispirited, rather depressed. He says, "My spirit grows faint." He pleaded with God to rescue him because they're too strong for me. He was very much pouring out his complaint to God, and acknowledged that God was his refuge and that God's goodness was the most important thing. But there was a very definite negativity about the way he was portraying the situation. In Psalm 57, quite differently, there is the theme of God being his refuge, but it's much more hopeful. It's much more forward-looking. He talks about until the danger is past. He talks about God vindicating him. He realises that this will all be over one day. And in verse 7 he says, "My heart is steadfast." You know, these 2 psalms, very different, very different emphasis, and yet out of the same man writing the same situation he was in, but on different days or at different times, just feeling differently. And that's so like us. You know, whatever our response is at any one moment, we just have to remember the underlying theme of God's goodness and his interest in us and his desire to hear our complaints. We just need to cry out to him, and he will hold us fast if we trust in him. Verse 10 of Psalm 57 says, "For great is your love, reaching to the heavens. Your faithfulness reaches to the skies. Be exalted, O Lord, above the heavens. Let your glory be over all the earth." Let's remember that in the days to come.